back to another Josh K guitar video. Josh here as always at your service. First thing I wanted to do today is thank the new subscribers for coming in, for clicking the bell, for clicking the subscribe button. When this channel does reach 1,000, we're at just over 800 as I looked this morning. And when we do cross over that 1,000 subscriber mark, I will go ahead and drop some new music for you. Let's go ahead and do it so I can quit talking about it, you know? And also, let's turn off some effects. I've got some drives on, a couple of stacked drives, and as always, reverb and delay. But let's go ahead and just get a nice clean tone for what we're going to be doing today. I always like to practice with a clean tone. You can always add in that extra stuff later and have some fun with it. But you always want to work on your tone first, and as the old guys say, it comes from your fingers, not from your amp or your pedals. So that said, what we're doing is we are looking at Mick Goodrick's Chord Almanac. This is the third page that I'm sharing. I'm doing this because I want to make this material accessible for everybody because it just currently isn't anymore. So here's the page that we're going over. Go ahead and feel free to screenshot this at your convenience so you can practice in your free time. I do suggest that you do that because I'm not going to be able to cover everything in a video. The first one of these that I did was an hour long, and I didn't even, I probably scratched the surface of what you can practice with this stuff. So that said, I'm not going to go through all of that as I did before, but I am going to go ahead and just say, there's no one way to practice this. There's no perfect recipe for a perfect guitar player. You just play this stuff. You try to learn what things sound like so that you can improve your ear. You try to improve how you can perform them and how many different ways that you can perform them so that you can improve your mind. So that's what this is all about. I'm going to today... I haven't included any tabs, and I still refuse to do that, but I will include this fretboard diagram that shows what I'm playing so that you can see how I'm sort of thinking about the fretboard as we go through these. So that said, we're going to start right here at the top. If you need to, like I said, please screenshot this right here. And if you screenshot that, then you can maybe put it off to the side as we talk and go through these. And then, like I said, you can also have it to practice on your own if you do that. So that said, we're starting right here at the top. We are doing the same principle, cycle 2, which means moving through the chords C, D, E, F, G, right, in alphabetical order, which typically we'd associate as guitar players, or even just general musicians would associate going C to D. The most likely choice is to go upward from C up to D. So 5 to 7 on the fretboard, and it would look higher if you wrote it in music notation, right? So that's our typical inclination, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving downward, right, as we do these. And I actually just practiced it purposely in a way that I'm not going to be playing these so that you can just see, hey, there's another way you can do these. I also encourage doing these as one string exercises, so C, E flat, G, and then F, D, A flat, right? And then G, B, E flat, C, A flat, F. So I'm practicing each triad, first moving upwards, then downwards, so that you can really, again, see the spacing, the intervallic relationship, all of that stuff is really, really important to study. So that said, I'm going to start nice and high up here so that we have lots of room to travel all the way down the neck, because as you can see from our arrows, that's what we're doing. It's a continuous downward motion, and we actually don't even have enough notes on the guitar to do that, so I'll be changing octaves several times throughout the course of this video. Alright, so the first sound we're going to hear is C minor to D diminished. And again, the sound that we're used to for that would be this, or maybe like this, right? Something like that that moves upward. But Mick asks us to move down. So if you do that and you analyze the voices, your C is going to move down to A flat. It's a 4-fret difference. E flat to D, G to F. And I like to practice them like that, where you play the first chord, then you play the movement of every note. Maybe if you like the melodic content there, then you practice. Right? And again, I'm just kind of playing with the pitches that are there and a few neighbor notes to get some actually pretty interesting content. And then again, F down to E flat, D down to B. And already you can see there's like some cool melodic options. Right? And then A flat down to G. Right? There's just so much there to play with, which is why I love this book. This is one of these books where, like, if I'm ever feeling like, oh, I don't have, I'm playing stock licks, I'm just playing so many stock licks all the time, I just turn to a random page in this book, and I'll just kind of shed it for a day, and I'll find that I've broken myself out of the pattern just by doing simply that. So that's why, again, I wanted to make this book available for everybody. So now we're on E flat augmented, and we're going to go down to F minor. So then again, we get this interesting shape. E flat down to C, B down to A flat, and then we're going to also get G down to F on the bottom. And again, you get this really, again, interesting, cool thing that just happens that as you're traveling from this to this. So now we're on F minor, traveling down to G. And again, we get... And again, G down to A flat. And these are pretty simple shapes. It's kind of like a D chord moved, and that's like your E, like bar chord, kind of a top of a bar chord shape. So they're not complicated, but study the movement, right? G to A flat. So B goes down to A flat, G goes down to E flat. That's a big skip. And then D goes down to C. I love that. And you can kind of like combine them. Again, you're just like searching for sounds that you like. This is the whole purpose of this whole thing. This is harmonic minor. This is the sounds that exist in harmonic minor. And here's some sounds that Mick thinks you might find cool and interesting. And you know what? He's kind of right. And For me, when I first practiced these, there was a lot that I was like, oh, that's too spicy. I don't like that. But over time, you develop a taste for things. And the beauty of this is when something is not to your taste, when you don't like a thing, the beauty is you don't have to play that. Like, you don't, like, it's good to practice it. It's good to make your mind stronger, and it's good to open your palate to it. But if you don't like the sound, don't play it on the gig. Like, by all means, you don't have to. This is not a requirement. So, that said, getting back to it, right? We're on A flat, moving down to B diminished. So that's C moving down to B, right? And again, we're right here, end of the first line. C down to B, E flat to D. And then a big jump, A flat down to F. You can always mix this stuff with like pentatonic scales and simple stuff. So now I'm mixing between, you know, like Mick Goodrick stuff and stuff that I just like from regular life. Yeah, I'm kind of more of the same. I'm just mixing. But the idea is that it provides all of this great, it's not just voice leading, it's great melodic content between voices. So it's kind of like you're doing not one or two or three arpeggios at the same time, but like all of the diatonic motion that exists within the given modality. All right, let's move on to the second line. We are resolving here from B diminished to C minor. So that's the first chord on the next line right here. G, C, E flat. All right, so we're going and that's our melody. I'm going to go ahead and move this up so that I have lots of room to travel. And again, I'm going to play the chord. And now I'm going to play the movement down to D diminished. So G moves down to F. All of the letter movements are going to be the same. You can see G moving down to F up here. It's also moving down to F in the second line. The difference is which octave are we playing it in, what voicing are we using. So in this case, G and F are in the bottom. Yeah, so G's moving down to F, C to A flat, E flat to D. Then down to E flat augmented. F is down to E flat, A flat to G, D to B. So now we're moving E flat augmented down to F minor. So that's E flat to C, G to F, B to A flat. And again, I'm going to move that. Same voicing, just different strings. Now I have room to move, and you can see the fret motion a little better. So we're moving down to G. So that's going to be here. So that's so these two still move down just one fret. This is a minor third. So it's C to B, F to D, A flat to G. Then that down to A flat. Alright, so this is going to move down to A flat. Then and so last chord, and I'm at the very end of my fretboard. So I'm going to go ahead and just move that up. A couple of octaves so I have lots of room. So here we are, F, B, D, friggin' big deal, and moving down to C minor. So that motion is here. So it's F down to E flat, B down to G, D down to C. We get this now. Next sound moving down to D diminished. So that's C moving down to A flat, G moving down to F, and then E flat moving down to D. Beautiful. Then that moving down to E augmented, third chord on the third line. And then that moving down to F minor. I'm going to try and play through these a little faster so I don't run out of time here. But we're moving here. So B moves down to A flat, E flat to C. Chord melodic, cool melodic movement. And then G down to F. Melodic motion. Then that down to a G. So these two just down a fret. So that's A flat to G, C to B, and then here on top, F down to D. Good voice leading, good melody. That moving down to an A flat. Again, really great melody. Here we are at the end here. So E flat, A flat, C, and we're moving down. E flat to D. A flat to F, C to B. And then that's going to resolve all the way back around to the first line, actually. Really great musical options there. I'm going to go through the spread voicings a little faster, and I'm going to do these in a little bit of a different way. I like to practice spread voicings a lot of the time in a way that sounds a little more orchestrated. So I'm going to go ahead and play through those. The only difference between the spread down here and the closed here is every voice in the middle. So like here on the top line, E flat to D, B, A flat, is raised up an octave. So you can see E flat, D, B, A flat. That's on the top now. So instead of being this closed voice triad, we're going to take this out of the middle and move it up high. And I might use an easier fingering than that. Okay, so that said, let's kind of go right through it. I like to do this way. So high note, low note, middle, then alternate between that and right from the bottom to the top, low, middle, high. So high, low, middle, high. So I'm just going to play straight through so you can see how I visualize it on the fretboard. And I'll let you know when I need to change an octave or something. So we're starting C minor spread. diminished, E flat augmented, F minor, G major, A flat, B diminished, second line, C minor. Now I'm out of frets, so I'm going to go ahead and move that up an octave. Actually, let's do 2 octaves. Alright, so we have C, G, E flat, D diminished, E flat augmented, F minor, G, A flat, B diminished, C minor. And now we're on that third line. I'm going to run out of space here again, so I'll let you know when that happens. But we're starting on C minor, D diminished, E flat augmented, F minor, G, and now we're out of space, so let's go ahead and move that up an octave. So we're at G, A flat, B diminished, and back around C, G, and E flat on the top. And you can see I've landed in a completely different octave than I left off, so it might be useful for me. Go back around starting from this C minor down low so that I have more to practice and more to play with. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm going to go ahead and show close up that page one more time just so that you can screenshot it, and then I'm going to go ahead and play my way out. So thank you so much for tuning in again today for another installment of the Mick Goodrick Chord Almanac. Please do make sure you click subscribe and click the bell so that you get all of the latest updates on this. I am trying to do 2 a week. Sometimes I only get 1 done. Forgive me. It's a pretty in-depth series, and it's a lot of different stuff that I want to show. So that said, happy I got one in for this week, and I will see you next time. Oh, also big thanks to my bandmates, Jay Lapp and Bob Noble and Dan Gonzalez, who I took a bunch of footage of. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of them over the next couple of weeks as well. Happy practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.